Milady ba? I think we all know what Pokemon is, right? I mean, you're on the internet and you stumbled your way on here. We can go without an explanation. But one thing we cannot ignore is, holy crap, there's a lot of Pokemon. Well, speaking in layman's terms, 700 of anything does seem more than a small quantity, especially when you just so happen to have a countdown to do on the internet that may or may not piss off at least 2.5638 people. I would know, I've had experience. This means a list like this is bound to be different from someone else's, and that might be due to desired playstyle, general design, favored mythos, and other opinionated things. So if your list is identical to mine, I would love to meet you so we can question each other's life choices. We better do it quick, otherwise the world will implode. Every day, giant huggable species named Lapras are brutally slaughtered. Which, I mean, kinda sucks considering that they're very capable Pokemon with high base HP to tank some pretty nasty attacks, and some decent attacking power to hopefully throw something back with a diverse move pool full of attacks that can cover a lot of types, as well as some good recovery and hindrance moves, but none of that's important. These kind, gentle creatures can understand human speech, so imagine the horror each Lapras must feel before they are killed upon hearing such awful quotes as, "Kill these bastards and skin them like the blubbery fecks they are!" Pokemon is rated E? No, I don't think so. So I ask of you with great sincerity to help with this cause, so that none of these fictional lines of code can ever feel the horrible release of death. Please, donate to our Screw the Haters tip jar, where I personally won't do shit. These things are pretty capable on their own. You'd think they'd probably ice beam the hunters or something by now, right? Oh. Jesus Christ. When it comes to Pokemon designs, I'd probably say Gen 3 as my favorites. We got, let's see, a Kung Fu fighting chicken, a pineapple duck, a walking boombox, a torpedo whale, and even an armored dinosaur dragon something. Hell, its own name gives off the notion of ultimate badassness. Agron. Say it with me, guys. Agron. I'd love to come up with adjectives that aren't spoken in everyday language that makes it look like I spent about 50 minutes on a thesaurus, so I'm just gonna stick with badass. It claims mountains as its territory and eats iron for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and any time between. I'd like to think Agron celebrates Earth Day because, I mean, if you mess with the environment, then I'm positive that it will be the last thing you want to confront you. Agron boasts high physical attack and even higher physical defense, as well as a lot of diverse moves, some benefiting its stats and some that do not. Yes, it does have 2 quad weaknesses, but a lot of fighting type moves are physical, and more often than not, Earthquake will be the only concern. Even then, why would you use an Agron against either of those 2 types? Are you daft? And even then, Agron is special enough to Mega Evolve, getting rid of its rock typing along with its quad weaknesses and a new ability that cushions super effective damage. And yet, it's still not fast enough for its base form to be higher than RU. I mean, at least it has a set for OU, so that balances things out. I'm gonna be honest here, I think Game Freak's starting to get backed into a corner with some new Pokemon ideas. Don't get the wrong idea already, they're very capable designers, but I think every new generation inhabits Pokemon that I'm starting to believe Game Freak were hesitating to release beforehand. Oh, but when they hit the marks with a simple idea, they really hit the marks, which is where Aegislash comes in. There's a lot to love about this Pokemon. The design gives off a noble and chivalrous attitude while still retaining its ghostly nature from the pre-evolutions. Its dual steel ghost typing gives it 4 weaknesses, but have fun damaging it with the rest of the types. But of course, we can't talk about Aegislash without going into what makes it. Its signature ability, Stance Change, allows it to switch between its 2 forms, one of which is incredibly defensive and the other is brutally offensive, with the uses of an attacking move and its signature move, King Shield, which acts as a protect, but also lowers the foe's attack by 2 if attempted to hit with a contact move. Sounds predictable, but you can get in your opponent's head and use that as an opportunity to set up and protect when they expect you not to, and that form of manipulation is oh so satisfying. Alright, look, Listen, I know some of you like to have a good challenge. I respect that. It makes certain things a hell of a lot more interesting. But man, what's wrong with becoming a tyrannical god? Let me have my giant sky noodle in peace. Its base form is still a very capable Pokemon with high base attack stats and a wide variety of moves to make your opponent sweat in fear. Basically what puts a lot of these legendaries in banned tiers. However, someone at Game Freak decided that it wasn't good enough and decided to push this new upcoming Mega Evolution mechanic on it and skyrocketed beyond trillions of light years. Mega Evolutions are kept under check by requiring a held item to Mega Evolve with no special effects. What Rayquaza needs to achieve this brand new form, which bearing in mind is already a force to be reckoned with, is a powerful dragon type move in its move pool. And you know what? Yes, it's the most brainless idea for a Pokemon in the entire franchise, and I love it. What if I don't want to make certain fights more interesting? Sometimes I just want to wreck every soul I come across, and this is obviously the go-to Pokemon for this sort of thing. Of course, this didn't need to happen, and I would be fine with the standard Rayquaza. It's one of those cases where it's both a positive and a negative. Really depends on the kind of person you are. Sometimes we gotta look at something that's admittedly plain and standard, and there's still something lovable to be found, such as the case with Ursaring. Now I'll admit, Ursaring is far from the best Pokemon, let alone its own typing. It's got a very high base attack stat and sizable HP, and somewhat good diversity in its move pool, but its low speed and somewhat decent defenses don't make it work as a fast sweeper or even a bulky one. And while Ursaring can either get some sizable speed or some really fucking good attack stat, it requires a status hindrance to get those benefits. So what's the deal? I mean, come on. It's a list of favorite Pokemon, and we went this long without an explanation of nostalgic experience. Let me have this one. The reason why I love Ursaring so much lies in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. First Pokemon you can catch is a Teddy Ursa, and while it's a ways away before you can evolve it, once it does evolve, Ursaring is a freaking beast during the story mode. I've always loved using it as an in-game playthrough because its high HP and attack make it a powerhouse, along with Return being its greatest asset, seeing how by now it would have high happiness. It's just that fun to use. Gen 4 added much deserved love to certain Pokemon by adding more evolutions to their lines, and honestly, I miss those days. Sure, Mega Evolutions seem to be the common speculation of enhancing a Pokemon, but don't pretend the alternative doesn't exist. We can actually get some awesome Pokemon that can use hold items, and we can use more than one of, like Electivire. So how is this for a design? An electric Yeti with Telsa coils for horns and cord-like tails. Who? Why? How? I don't care, it's friggin' awesome. Electivire always stuck out to me as a complete beast. It has a high attack stat as well as a very diverse move pool, so not only can take care of its ground weakness, but very good for taking out some very formidable Pokemon. Its ability Motor Drive is situational, boosting speed by getting hit with a move that Electivire shares and resists, but its hidden ability Vile Spirit prevents sleep, so that kinda makes up for it. I also enjoyed seeing the anime with Gary returning once more to slap the shit out of Ash's Pikachu. Serves him right. What is it with trainers not evolving their Pokemon anyway? Like I just said, Sinnoh evolutions are damn awesome, and while I would have loved to put Electivire higher up, I'm sorry, but when Gallade exists, there's not a lot of competition left, is there? I never realized how much I enjoyed the Roman Gladiator / Chivalrous Knight themes before Gallade happened. I mean, yeah, we went over Aegislash, and it is, competitively speaking, a better Pokemon, but if we're gonna go all the way, we might as well. Gallade's case? Lightsaber Elbow Tonfuzz. Does Game Freak take a bunch of random words together, make a Pokemon out of it, and make it really awesome? I mean, I'm still waiting on Electric Buzzsaw Whip, but that's another story. Don't expect that story. Oh yeah, and Gallade have high senses on its foe's thoughts, so good luck. Gallade have high attack and special defense, so not only are they capable Pokemon on their own merits, but they can also hold their own against their Psychic-type brethren and sisterin. But you know, it's still not enough. I mean, when X and Y came out and gave a Mega Evolution to Gardevoir, it was only a matter of time before we looked in the other direction. All I gotta say is with that attack stat, prevention of flinching, those shiny new elbow blades, and a cape? Have fun, because when they have capes, you're done. Pack your bags and take it to school. Fuck you. Pokemon's one of those franchises where you can take a small look at a Pokemon and think, yes, I want that one. So when I got to the champion's room of Pokemon Pearl, only to have barely tucked my way along because like a little shit, I forgot to buy full restores, I'd expect something to put me on my knee since I somehow got this far. And when I laid my 10-year-old eyes on her Garchomp, I knew from the very start I wanted that. Here we go again. This time from the Game Freak design raffle bag, we got Land Hammerhead Fangy Jet Shark. What the fuck? Really, with a design like that, it's bound to be a very powerful Pokemon, and rightfully so. Just give it Sword Stance and Outrage and watch as your opposing trainer crumble in fear because they forgot to bring a Fairy type. Thanks, Gen 6, for ruining my precious What the fuck? You gave it sides for arms and even more legs? I mean, yeah, it's slower, but Jesus Christ! Oh look, it can learn Iron Head, so that balances things out. No, not really. Look, my point is that Garchomp is a beast, and anyone who's played Gen 4 or later knows this. Why exactly are people wanting Pokemon to be real? This giant pile of no subtlety is out to wreck your families. I mean, it can do this. Anime just needs to not. Hey, remember back in 2012 where I had a huge obsession with Typhlosion to the point that I thought it was a surefire choice for Smash 4? Just thought I'd clear that up for the 2 people that still remember, because I sure do. I mean, I can't prove it anymore, so let's pretend for my sake that I'm lying. So the Flaming Honey Badger's out of the bag. Why is it that I love Typhlosion so much other than, well, do I want to say it? Well, to be honest, it's not really the best fire-type Pokemon out there. Sure, it hits hard and quick, and at its best, it's quite the monster, but its move pool diversity is not great. I mean, it gets a lot of good physical moves, but with that special attack stat, it's better in the end either way. So there aren't really a lot of good moves it can pull off out of its own typing, and god damn it, Smogon has nothing for mixed Typhlosions. So what's the deal? I mean, yeah, I made out Typhlosion to be a mediocre Pokemon, and we're at number 2. What's up? I didn't think I'd have to do this, but I'm gonna have to use a certain N-word that I don't think a lot of us like to justify my reason. Nostalgia! Yeah, I said it! I mean, it's not like Pokemon Crystal's my 3rd Pokemon game, Cyndaquil being my first starter in my first playthrough, and it's not like I loved it. I mean, it's not like I got really excited when Heart Gold and Soul Silver were announced so I can relive my younger years by destroying more souls with Typhlosion. Ah, come on, you should have seen this coming. I'll spare you the details and let's just get to number 1. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. My number 1 favorite Pokemon ever is Mewtwo. Ah, fuck, again? Oh, would you look at that? 2 potentially obvious number 1 candidates on 2 lists in a row based on my current banner. Maybe I should have done something about that. So, how did Greninja do it? How did this brand new starter Pokemon top the epitome of my nostalgia? Well, if you're actually looking for an answer, you're gonna find yourself disappointed. Look, I have no clue how I even got to this point. Greninja is just a really fucking good Pokemon, and it basically embodies everything I love in one. So what? Did Game Freak grab from their magic raffle bag again and make a water frog ninja? Well, not really. Well, considering Japanese culture's a thing, and already has a tale about a shape-shifting ninja into a frog, so the shock value isn't that high, but damn if it isn't an awesome design. Oh yeah, Greninja's also a really powerful Pokemon, so much so that it's the only non-Mega Evolved starter to sit in a cozy spot in Ubers, and that's thanks to Protein, which can change Greninja's type that corresponds to the move it's using, which can add further to its whole ninja thing. Greninja already has a huge move pool full of powerful moves, and that ability basically grants it same type attack bonus. It's a very, very strange mix of not messing around with your opponents and messing with them if used a certain way. Ninjas always struck me as really friggin' badass. I mean, I grew up with Naruto, so that's not really a shock. In fact, 2 things I've learned over the years. 1, don't fucking watch Naruto. Play the games. You're guaranteed less aneurysms. Maybe. And 2, don't fuck with a frog who has its tongue wrapped around like a scarf. I think Game Freak had a field week with this one. Oh yeah, guys, when the fuck are you adding Greninja to Pokken? That'd be really nice. Hey, that's another list in the bag. I'm getting better with this. ever so slowly. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I don't know what I want to do yet for next month, so if you'd like to help me out with a certain topic, you're more than welcome to. I don't know, I'll figure out something if you don't. In case you didn't watch my update video, you totally should. I mean, it might be a little outdated since most of the stuff is already out, but I think I mentioned something about doing reviews and doing countdowns more often. I don't know, who wants to check on that for me? Oh, and while you do, I'm gonna go not die or something. I don't know. See you later.